stepping to me. They want to get some, but I'm the king, so yo, you know the outcome. Another thing. This is my history.
Oh man, yo, chill. Hold on. Stop the presses. Chill. Ain't no half stepping. Welcome back to the Uncommon Bond podcast. It may look a little crazy right now because there's one bond and one uncommon. Really just me. Only because the dudes is busy. You know what I mean? But we are going through some transitional phases, but I just wanted to holler at y'all anyway real quick. You know what I mean? So let's talk about it. We got a few things I want to discuss briefly. Rock with your boy. Subscribe, lock in, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You heard? Bottom Shelf Steph, represent for the Uncommon Bond podcast. When it's talking about society, the lines are getting blurry, right? We have racial lines being blurry, entertainment lines being blurry, gender lines, and even color lines. So check this out, right? We got a British personality, Oli London, all right? Now, who is she, you might say? She's defending transracialism. Transracialism. Have you heard about this? In a documentary series called Would You Rather. She's 31 years old. She underwent multiple surgeries to look like BTS, the South Korea boy band BTS, the member Jimin, all right? And she most recently identified as a Korean woman using they and them pronouns. She's defending transracialism. Now, I'm ignorant to a lot of stuff, and I'm still learning, so bear with me when it comes to all these things that we're doing with ourselves. We making things a lot more difficult than they need to be. I ain't judging. I'm just saying, what do you think? If tomorrow I decided that I'm going to refer to myself as white, bottom shelf white, is it going to be okay? You going to let me rock? What's going to happen? Hey, who knows? But anyway, let's keep it moving. But before I do, you know I got some in the cup. And it's good too. You know why? Salute Black Girl Magic. Oh yeah, for real. Black Girl Magic. That bubbly Riesling. By who? Oh, you don't know? The McBride sisters. Tell you a crazy story, but not too much. You can log in, check it out, Google them, whatever. But the McBride sisters literally grew up two different sides of the earth. One in New Zealand, the other in Central Cali. Didn't know about each other, grew up separately, and then found out that they had a stepsister, right? Common father. And they ended up meeting and talked about, you know what I mean, building this brand that I'm drinking on right now. So it only took a few years, and it has grown into not only the largest Black-owned wine company in the United States, but one of the most inclusive, accessibly socially aware, and sustainable wine companies out there. So check them out. The McBride sister, Andrea and Robin, Black Girl Magic, Bubbly Reason. Got to support our sisters, right? You can find them in Trader Joe's wines and multiple other places. Or just Google them. Just go, you know what I mean? Type it up, order a few cases. They got them in the sexy bottles. I'm just drinking out of a can because you know I'm bottom shelf, baby. So you know how we do. But anyway, let's get back to these blurred lines because we was talking about transracialism, right? So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about the lines of entertainment, how we crossing these lines. Comedians ain't safe on stage no more. Dave Chappelle runs into Isaiah Lee, or should I say Isaiah Lee. Isaiah Lee runs into Dave Chappelle, 23 years old, arrested now, charged with felony assault, tackles him in Hollywood Bowl while Dave is doing a show. You remember the pictures? My man was in the joint like this, like, ah. They twisted him up. A whole bunch of them, including Jamie Foxx, jumped on him like, yo, not Dave. Mangled him up. Security. It was crazy. I personally believe the beatdown was necessary. Got to send a message, right? So now the lines are being blurry. And this is what I mean. When we grew up, in my generation, we had Def Comedy Jam. Martin Lawrence was the host. Martin was raw with it, y'all. Y'all understand? If you don't, Google that, man. Roasting you. If you bought a ticket, you sat front row or even mid row or even up top. There's a famous clip of him roasting Flavor Flav from the balcony. He's hollering at him, talking to him, calling him all type of names, going back and forth in love for the show, for the art of comedy. Somebody got to say it, man. We just got too sensitive nowadays. It's just crazy how things have happened, and now we don't know what the lines are and where we stop and you know where we go. So all I'm saying is, if you buy your ticket, enjoy the show, and if you don't want nobody to talk about you, maybe you shouldn't go. You definitely shouldn't sit in the front row. But when it comes to Mr. Lee, he had this coming and he had it planned because he's a rapper. Had a song describing the assault that he did just now, 2 years prior, on his album called Born and Die in the Trap, on a song on that album called Dave Chappelle, where he talks about approaching him at the Hollywood Bowl. Funny enough, he was supposed to do a show, but COVID happened. So I guess he delayed it, but nevertheless, here he was trying to get at Dave with a weapon, no less. So I think the charges don't really fit the crime. He should have got more. But that beatdown was proper. Shout out to my man Isaiah Lee. Holding it down for you, baby. Let's keep it on entertainment. Chris Paul, well-known NBA player, Suns, Phoenix Suns in the playoffs, playing the Dallas Mavericks. His wife and his mother are like physically touched while they out there, like by fans that wanted, like they unwanted hugs. So they touching them, right? You know what I mean? Family players ain't safe for NBA dudes. They can't have their family in the crowd. Fans in Dallas put hands on his mom and his wife, pushed the wife while the children were sitting close by. The mother, well, the wife, Chris Paul's wife, was then followed up the aisle and harassed as she left her seat, being uncomfortable. And this is because they wanted to receive unwanted hugs, right? So what's the punishment, you say, right? Because if you Chris Paul, how you feel? Like, how do y'all feel if you at your job and somebody's harassing your family, right? Let me tell you what the punishment was. They kicked him out the game. All right. You know what else they did? They banned him. You would think for life, right? Nah. You know when they can come back to the games? 2023. I don't know, man. Black girl magic is nice, but whew, it ain't messing with my math. It's 2022. So the season's about to end. 2023 is a couple months from now, so they can go back to the games. Really? Yo, man, I don't know. All I'm saying is, what do y'all think? But we're going to keep it moving, man. Let's keep it moving to what I really wanted to talk about. When it comes to a famous YouTuber slash relationship advice counselor slash controversial name, just, the brother Kevin Samuels. I'm not going to sit here and say that I am 100,000% behind what he was saying all the time, because I wasn't. I'm never cool with you putting down people publicly, especially our Black and brown women, asking them to rate themselves from 1 to 10, talking about low value women and high value this, and if you don't have a man after 35, and if you have more than one kid, XYZ. I don't agree with most of that. I don't. But I will say this. The conversations that he was having kind of helped. You know what I mean? On some level. Not every one of them, But in reality, if you think about it and you put it all together, there was a common theme, and it was about us getting better as far as even dating one another, like how we treat one another, how we talk to one another. You know what I mean? And yeah, on some level, he was hypocritical. I could agree with that. But here's my problem. when it comes to gender, we treat things funny, right? So now everybody, a lot of women have a lot to say about Kevin Samuels now that he's passed on, and I think that's unfair to talk down about that man now that he's gone. He's somebody's cousin, he's somebody's uncle, he's somebody's father, per se, I think. We're not sure. You know what I mean? He had two failed marriages. Was he the best relationship advice counselor? No, he had two failed marriages. Okay. Was he a professional therapist? No, he got his degree in chemical engineering. Okay. So from Oklahoma University, he was then an image consultant. We didn't know nothing about him till all of a sudden in the pandemic, kaboom. But he had been there, but kaboom, here he is, talking crazy, getting people riled up. Women is at the job like, yo, I can't stand this man. Dudes is like, yeah. But not all dudes, of course. They were them. Sometimes he said some stuff. And I was like, oh God, I can't believe he said that. But if a woman passed away, would it be cool? Sisters, let me talk to you for a minute. Would it be cool for me as a Black man to talk about a sister that just recently passed, no matter how controversial she was, no how many times she says certain things that I didn't agree with? Would it be cool for me to talk down on her name now that she's dead? Right? Not even a day or two or a week, I'm already on the MIC talking crazy about Shorty, like, oh, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? He wasn't this, she wasn't that, she wasn't this, she blah, 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 blah. Talking down on her? Nah, that ain't cool. But here we are, right? Can't wait. Hot takes all week. Mostly women on social media, in the limelight, talking about this man like he ain't just died. Just because they didn't like what he said. So now he deserved to be dead? We got to be careful how we talk about one another. At the end of the day, that's just another Black man, and he's now no longer with us. Be respectful. For as controversial as he was, and as for the many things that he said that a lot of us didn't agree with, he did get a lot of conversations started that we needed to have. But think about it. Just think about it for a second. When it comes to us, we don't need to be talking about each other like this. Because y'all wouldn't like it if we got spicy about a brown sister that just passed, just because we ain't like what she was saying. She's dead. That man is dead. Let him rest in peace. We could talk about it. We could have a conversation, but we don't got to slander this man's name because we ain't like him. But anyway, I'm running out of time. Y'all leave them comments in the comment section. Like, subscribe, holla at me. UCB, Uncommon Bond Podcast. We ain't going nowhere. We just changing the drapes. You heard? I got to change these drapes. Yo, peace. Music, please.